And? That was a cute kitten, wasn't it, Melissa?
Yes, Carl, nothing like a video of a kitten riding a polar bear to end the show.
That wraps up the news for this hour. Stay tuned for softball coming up next.
So, I understood that the two of you wanted to speak with me.
Yes, boss. Thanks for making time to see us.
We wanted to talk to you about the last segment today.
The kitten riding the polar bear? That was pretty cute.
But it wasn't exactly hard-hitting news.
And it wasn't what we promised. We went to break teasing a story about Cindy Sheehan. We came back from the break with a story about a tornado that destroyed an empty shed in Waco, then moved on to scenes from a low-speed car chase in Daytona Beach. Then we wrapped it up with a video of a kitten riding a polar bear.
Not one word about Cindy Sheehan. It's like she suddenly disappeared.
There wasn't even any footage of Code Pink protesters chaining themselves to the White House gate. It's almost as if nobody opposes the war in Libya.
Kinetic Military Action.
What? What do you mean?
A war is one of those tacky things with lots of dirt and blood and American body bags. Today we have lots of stock footage of cruise missiles being launched and planes taking off from carriers. When you combine that with shots of brave freedom fighters who are struggling valiantly against stiff odds with a little help from their NATO friends and a certainty that it will all be over before the Republicans settle on a presidential candidate, you have a kinetic military action.
But what about Cindy Sheehan?
Cindy doesn't seem to like a kinetic military action any more than she liked a war.
Isn't that a story? What about the absolute moral authority that Rachel Maddow said she has?
Cindy Sheehan's son died in the Bush War. Her absolute moral authority expired when Bush left office.
But aren't the war policies of President Obama very much like what we would have if Bush had a third term?
Not really. If Bush were still president, opposition to the wars would still be growing, and we would be leading the charge.
I'm confused.
Of course you are. We can't replace an important institution like journalists in less than a year. When Bush was in office, any direction was okay as long as it was away from where Bush wanted to be. But the Lightbringer entered office as the result of the most carefully constructed narrative in history. Without critical resources like journalists, it is sometimes difficult for everyone to know what the narrative is supposed to be. Don't worry, I'll talk to the people upstairs about getting you added to the replacement list.
Thank you.
But what about Code Pink?
Don't worry, we'll feature them anytime they provide a sound bite about how Obama inherited the wars from Bush.
Thanks, boss.
Think nothing of it.
That's the news for this half hour, but stick around. After the break, we'll be talking to an administration spokesman who will be telling us how clean a kinetic military action is.
Don't forget, cleanliness is next to goddessliness.